doing that. It's bloody expensive.
Welcome everybody. Declare the meeting open and advise the meeting will be digitally recorded in accordance with council policy to assist in the preparation of minutes and to allow for the live streaming of the council meeting. A reminder of those in attendance to ensure that their phones are turned down. To ensure the safety of both elected members and public, safety barriers have been installed to clearly separate public access areas during council meetings. Members of the public must remain on the entry door side of the barrier unless directed otherwise by an authorised officer. To minimise disruption and maintain order, any materials for elected members must be submitted in advance through the Executive Officer, Matthew Gruber, as direct approach within the restricted area is not permitted. The Circular Council acknowledges the North West Tasmanian Aboriginal people as the traditional custodians of the country in which we stand, meet and play. We recognise their continuing land, waters and community. We pay respect to elders past, present and emerging. We're all in attendance and there's no leave of absence, so upstanding please for prayers.
Let us take a moment to clear our minds and focus on achieving outcomes that serve the greater good of the whole community. May light illuminate all present and support everyone to bring their highest and best selves to the debate and the decisions made here tonight.
Thank you. Right, 2.1. Can I have a mover that the minutes of the council meeting on Thursday 17th July, a copy which has been circulated to councillors, be confirmed as a true record? Thanks, Councillor Collins. Seconded, Councillor Dabner. No debate? Put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Declarations of interest. Any councillor with a declaration of interest? Thank you. 4.1, Mayor's Communications. There's a couple there. Is there any questions on any of those? Councillor Hine.
The Digital Swamp Steering Committee, how did that, what was the outcome of that and where's that heading to?
The first part of it is that they've putting together some more stuff. They are talking to a couple of people at the moment, but where it leads to, that's crystal ball stuff. So I can't really give you a solid answer on that. There is a meeting scheduled for next week or the week after. It was scheduled for this week, but some information hasn't come back. Councillor Flowers?
Tas Water 5-year plan for the pricing. Are they going to, I'm absolutely glad I'm not near Tas Water. They still going to go on what they advertised, or is it?
That needs to be ticked off by the regulatory body. Yeah. They've put their proposal of what they want to do, which is what you've seen, and that needs to be ticked off by the appropriate regulatory body. So if they get the tick off, yes, it will.
So we don't get to have a say in it then?
No, I've been asking for 12 months for a 10-year financial projections on what they want to do. To date, we've been crickets. I know Vanessa asked on 2 or 3 occasions, and Andrew, while he was here, asked as well. When the GAC conference is on, I'm going to go the day before and make an appointment with the CEO and have a chat about to try and get some long-term plans, or the assumptions around those long-term plans is what I want to see. And the council, no doubt, I want to see it.
Just to me, it seems ridiculous, the price rises that they're going for.
There's no doubt they've got a lot of catch-up to do, but there's also a lot of waste and a lot of, and whether they are prioritising it right, I don't know.
Yeah. No worries.
Thank you, Councillor Oldacre.
Yeah, just on the matter of Tas Water, I sat in an office and watched, without being seen on the screen, they made a presentation to all the councils. Quite frankly, it was a waste of time sitting there listening to it, because all they wanted to do was tell you what they thought you wanted to hear. And it's absolutely shameful, and they have no respect at all, because all they're doing, Taswater, is hiding behind the Prices Oversight Commission,
That's the one I want, yep.
right? And then they'll say the board agrees, but they've got a board that nobody's got enough nous to take these people on.
That, I agree, I said at the,
In fact, it probably needs to be a discussion with the Minister about Taswater and where they're going in this pricing structure, because they made a statement where they were putting it up 10% a year for 4 years is what...
that's got to be ticked off here, but that...
Yeah, but on the screen, it was 8.8% for the 4 years, right? So they changed their tune a bit, but at the present time, they're not worrying about whether we got water leaks or anything else, or worrying about whether our community, you know, what they're paying, when it's just got out of hand totally.
Hey, and once again, Councillor, like I said to Councillor Flowers, that's the question of that debt level, how they're going to... I've been asking. I'd suggest if after that we have possibly a chat to the Chief Rep of the councils as a starting point. That's his role. So we could possibly go down that path. But hopefully we'll get some information. If we don't, we'll start that other path from there. Councillor Flowers, yeah?
Instack Pivot, how big of upgrade are they planning on doing there?
They actually done some, and I'll be honest, I hadn't been out there, so I don't know. Really, they pointed out this and this and this, so I'll be honest, I'm not 100% certain of how much that was, but they had their main customers and a few other people about, and they just touched base with me to come out really. So they've done a bit of clean-up, a bit of here and there, but as far as how much it is, I'm sorry, I don't know, and dollars and cents they didn't say. So.
Yeah, just that it's sort of sealed off now to stop the dust or anything.
Yep.
To keep the neighbours happy.
And that was a part of what they were doing. Yeah.
Yep.
And we haven't had any complaints from that neighbour for quite a while. So that's what. Councillor Popowski?
Mr Mayor, how are we going with the appointment management committee? Is their planning, and when does the rubber hit the ground, and what are they planning to do? That's a good question. There'll be some stuff come back in the near future. The planning, there's nothing changed from what was come out as far as the public consultant stuff that you would have went to, no doubt, of where they're planning and which tracks they're planning to do, which ones I want to leave as four-wheel drive tracks. So it's a mixture there of getting the ones to go who want to go camping and fishing and having some tracks into them spots, but also leave some fair dinkum four-wheel drive tracks around there as well. So as far as timing goes, I'll take a note, and then meeting next month and I'll come back to you. Yeah, and just see when they're going to start.
Yeah.
I'll
ask that question that way.
Righto, thank you.
Councillor Collins.
I was just wondering if there was anything special we needed to know about your meeting with the Honourable Ruth Forrest.
That was an interesting meeting. No, it was just it was a catch-up. Most of the politicians at different times come round to catch up. It was a chance to meet Paul. Yeah, it was just one of those type of meetings.
Okay.
There's no specifics. We've mentioned to her that once again we might want to do some bashing if we don't get West Smith and that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Councillor Flowers with the Grinnellies.
Is she independent, Ruth Forrest, now, or is she Labor member?
I suggest you ask Ms Forrest that question, Councillor Flowers. It's not mine to answer. Councillor, you looking keen?
I was on the same thing. I wonder whether you would like to be State Treasurer, any advice as far as debt reduction as a state?
We did not get into the job that we didn't know was coming up, no. And once again, I'll leave that to respond if she wishes. Councillor Holdaker?
The question relates to what came out of the meeting with Honourable Anne Urquhart.
When was that one, mate? Let me have a look.
Nearly one of the last.
Anne Urquhart. What date?
Where's that?
Oh, the productivity roundtable, sorry. Yep, that was a mixture of councils, business people, the likes of Sean Britton was up there and the likes and other people around. Effectively, they were throwing in what I'd like to see, what we'd like to see, and that was the federal minister, and I've forgotten his name, I apologise, was there, and they were taking that back as part of as to put around what's happening over the last few days. So it was really just gathering information from our sector, or our area, from business and councils, etc., about what they could do to potentially improve productivity. And some of the main ones coming out of that was to create, from memory, is in the case of, say, Sean Britton, for example, was speaking on confidence and the ability to make long-term plans, have stuff in place so they could do that. That was one of the major ones. Planning come up, you wouldn't be surprised there, and a few. It was that type of stuff. Councillor Hine.
Yeah, on the Sean Britton letter of support that we gave, was there a timetable set when they were going to get the decision from that? Or?
No, but I know it goes in tomorrow.
Right.
Tomorrow, yes, I'm sure it's got to be handed in tomorrow.
Right, yes, sir. Thank you.
Right, so if that's all, can I have a move in a second as they be noted, please? Thanks, Deputy Mayor, second to Councillor Dabner. No debate, put the motion, those in favour?
Aye.
Against, carried. We've also got our workshops there, so if there's no questions on any of that, if I could have the same movement, or a move and a second, that we note them. Councillor Pilkington, second to Councillor Popovsky. No debate, put the motion, those in favour?
Aye.
Against, carried. No public questions, no planning. So we'll now go to 7.3, councillor questions without notice. Yep, councillor Flowers.
The bridge on Yans Road at Rocky Cape there that we just
Just been done.
yeah, was put to us that it was very dangerous and had to be done, and we couldn't wait for it to try and get a grant. Well, at the moment there now, the bridge is 2 metres wider than the Bellmouth. Like, it's an absolute joke when you drive past. If you drove straight across the bridge, you end up on the grass. You drive across the bridge and you go in. When's that going to be fixed? Because it's just laughable.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. So the bridge replacement itself, as you're probably aware, was a council project, so that bit being completed by council. The Bellmouth was the State Growth's responsibility. That was their component of the project, so we're waiting for State Growth to complete that. But I can certainly go away and seek an update from State Growth as to when that might happen, if you like.
Yeah, just that the issue was put across that it was very dangerous and all the fanfare of how bad it was, and we've done that, spent the money, when we should have probably left it another 12 months and applied for more grants instead of us paying for it out of our...
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe next time we do things like that, we should think we'll look a bit further down.
The intention was certainly to align the projects such that they were both done at the same time, but delays that are outside of our control resulted in the State Growth component being pushed back, but I'll seek an update on that one for you.
Yep. No worries.
Thank you. Any further questions? Councillor Hine.
Yes, just following up at the last workshop, I asked a question about deposit recycle bins placed alongside. I've been alerted to the fact that Wynyard Council already put those in, and so I'm wondering whether we could follow through.
It would be a budgeting issue for next year. We've got nothing in the budget to do that.
Right.
So that would be a budgeting discussion come budget time next year. And I don't disagree with the idea of it at all, but we've got nothing there sitting around to be able to just go and do that. We'll need to have that in our budget discussion.
Thank you.
Councillor Flowers.
The issue on Broadmeadows State Growth Road, if that's not dealt with like pronto, because it's going to kill someone and they don't really care, can we have a media release saying that this is not a council road, we've done everything we can do, and just throw as much shit on state growth as possible so that they get their act together and fix it? Like, it's laughable.
I've had some, yes, well, if it wasn't so dangerous, it would be laughable, yes.
Yeah.
I had some discussions in the last couple of days with the Minister over the whole road, and that was the first discussion before the sinkhole come up. Mark sent me some pictures, he went for a drive. Councillor Redner, went for a drive, sent me some pictures which I forwarded on to the Minister at his request. Now, where that comes in time frames and stuff, I can't give you an absolute promise. But if we end up, I know, James, do you want to take the promise you've got from State Growth?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, through you, Mr Mayor, I've spoken to our maintenance contract officer at State Growth. He's advised that they'll deal with warning signs tomorrow, make that situation safe tomorrow, and then they promise to carry out the hot mix infill repair as soon as they can get to it. He's told me that next week's looking bad for weather, but if it's not done next week, it'll certainly be the week after. That's what I've been told.
Through you, Mr Mayor, what I would like to propose is that we at least put an update on our website as to what the current state is and what the action the council has taken, to provide that reassurance to the community and to just highlight the fact that it's a state road. Yeah. At least that will put the information out there, as you suggest.
Just that in social media, they're bagging this council for the condition of the road.
Yeah.
And it's not our road.
No.
Yeah.
No, well, as per the CEO there, we'll get that out. And the other part of that is if they haven't got them up by tomorrow, we're going to Marrawar for population drop-in.
Yep.
And that will be going past us about 10 past 12 tomorrow. If it's not there, we'll be on the phone and Darcy will go and put some stuff up as a safety issue anyway. So, thank you. Any further questions? Thank you. 8.1, notice of motion, Councillor Pilkington.
The notice of motion is written. There are a few changes that I'd like to make. The first is that point 2 is repeated as point 8, so delete point 8. And in point 3, instead of stringent visual assessment, just visual assessment.
So we've got those. Is there a seconder to the motion?
Yeah, I'll second the motion.
By Councillor Poski. Thanks, Councillor Pilkington. You can proceed now.
I propose the motion that the Council develop a policy that gives guidelines required to support renewable energy development in our municipality. Support the establishment of renewable energy zones on the following conditions. That Council receive rates, royalties from any project in their municipality. That wind farm developers submit decommissioning plans that are compatible with the original environment of the area. That significant landscapes, seascapes are not blocked or dominated by structures and visual assessment is applied. Wind farm developers must allow buffer zones that ensure existing residents are not subject to noise annoyance. That any proposed res be assessed for areas of high biodiversity significance with a view to excluding these areas from the development. Eagles should be afforded adequate buffer zones. That roads servicing the energy development be owned and maintained by the Department of State Growth. That a thorough economic assessment be carried out, taking into account the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats of the project that will have on the future of our community. That's the motion.
Thanks, Councillor Pilkington. Councillor Pavoski, you wish to speak?
Not at this stage, thank you.
Further speakers, for or against? Councillor Hine?
I'd like to ask the question, how are we going to deal with point 3 and under what terms and conditions are we going to get some sort of a realistic benchmark on that as far as sort of looking at that, and that's also relates to point 7 as far as how we're going to define that and under what sort of terms and conditions.
Through me to Councillor Pilkington, was where you going, I presume?
Yes,
Councillor
thank
Pilkington,
you.
do want
Yes.
to respond?
Point 3, it is just to ensure that a thorough visual assessment is carried out on each project. What prompted me to put this point in is that I don't consider what was carried out in Robbins Island to have been properly promoted by the developer, and the council didn't insist on correct and honest montages and area of assessment. So the point of this is to make sure that proper assessment is done when a project is proposed, that all landscapes and seascapes are thoroughly looked at. Certainly the point 7 is that there are different ways of looking at economic proposals. One is to just look at how much money is spent and what the good side of it is. But in any project that you look at, there are other sides to it. So that with a wind farm development, the money spent is going to bring economic activity into an area. But as we will probably find out in the next 3 years, it's going to cause a lot of havoc in housing, in our traffic assessment. It's going to remove opportunities of tourism that could have been carried out through Ramsar sites and so on. All these things should be looked at when a proposal is made to get a balanced view of what effect it's going to have on our economy and our community.
Thanks, Councillor Pilkington. Further speakers? Councillor Holdager?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I thank Councillor Pilkington for bringing this motion forward. But that doesn't mean to say I'm going to support it. First of all, as you go through the points, the first point, as I've said the other night, is we, through the LGA, are trying to get these wind farm developments to pay rates, and that's a Tasmanian thing. There's 2 or 3 items in there that are actually would be conditions of a planning scheme when you would be doing it. You would have them in as particularly the road one, but the environmental issues are all dealt with by the EPA, and we'll have no. But if we was to put this policy up, what it'll also do, it actually will forbid us from sitting as a planning authority for council dealing with the wind farms. And that's part of the reason why I don't think we should have a policy as such.
Thanks, Councillor Holdager. Further speakers?
I'd like to propose an amendment if it's possible.
Oh, you can propose an amendment, yes. I was about to say you've spoken already, but you can propose an amendment.
The actual motion wording, I'd like to add in there, I'll get my phone up and running. But after the word municipality,
Whereabouts is this and what?
And the actual motion, beginning of the motion.
the wording of the actual motion, yes. Right.
Yep.
After the word municipality, we commence another sentence. It be mandatory that any renewable energy development project such as wind and solar, they must include some base load power generation facility, and in brackets example stored water for hydro generation, to at least provide immediate energy when the wind stops blowing and the sun is not shining. I'd like to add that in as an amendment to the...
Right, so do I vote? So you got the wording?
I can give it
You'll
to
need to get that wording, right? Well, before we do that, is there a second to that amendment? Don't go very far, Tony.
No, righto.
I will have to still record it though.
Yep. Right, so no second to the amendment, we'll proceed with the motion.
We don't read it then, you don't.
I still need to
Still gotta do
record it.
Oh, right, yeah, thank you.
Any further speakers, for or against? CEO, do you wish to make a comment?
Yes, I mean, really, it's as with any policy, as with any additional work. In fact, in when we enter the financial year, we're more than happy to work with councillors on adjusting our workload. It's just really in considering and managing expectations. Part of the discussion and the considerations would be is timing. Currently, our work plan for the year has been committed to at the start of the financial year with our budgets, and we would be happy to, of course, adjust those expectations and those deliverables, but it would be a decision of the council table to help guide us a little bit as to what needs to be set aside in order to allow us to develop such a policy. But as I said, we want to be accommodating as much as possible, so it's just a consideration more than anything.
Before I go back to you, Councillor Pilgrim, because you've got the right to sum up with the thing, I won't be supporting it as such, and a lot of similar reasons to Councillor Holdaker, but it is my belief that, rightly or wrongly, that any project of this nature coming forward will be picked up under state, what's the word again?
State planning.
No, state significance. Yeah, of level of state significance, which will allow, on each occasion, this council then to put any of these type of thoughts forward on any one of them. But I do take on Councillor Holdaker's point that if we have a policy in place, the council itself would be at odds with it as a planning authority if it did come through ours. I don't believe it will come through ours, but if it did. So that's my reasons behind it anyway. Councillor Pilgrim, you have the right to sum up.
The reason I put up this motion was that we're going to get I imagine we're going to get a series of, in the future, applications for renewable energy development. With the Robbins Island development, the developer came to us. The council had no idea of a policy that they should adopt. The then mayor jumped in and said, we support it without consulting the community. This doesn't, it's a guideline to how we should look at projects when they come before us. Now, when we enter as a planning authority, we decide on the evidence that's put before us on that time. And these guidelines would be in the background, but it doesn't stop the planning authority from, and a councillor in a planning authority from making a decision. It's not their point. The council and future councils, they may change this policy if they want to, but it's a guideline of not only to us but developers coming forward where they should think. And then when you go into a planning authority, you look at the evidence that's put before you and make your decision there. But it makes us think about these points when a project comes before us before we even start to go out and say, this is what we, like the previous mayor did, went out and said this is a wonderful project without thinking about the points that are in this guideline.
Thanks, Councillor Pilgrim. Right, I will put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Aye. The motion passed. Thanks, Councillor Pilgrim. What have we got? 9.1, council delegations. Apparently I'm the one delegating here, so there's... Oh, thank you.
Yep.
You're supposed to kick me.
I did. Didn't you feel that virtual kick?
Now, for this report, we've got to actually work. Stop. I forgot something. Apologise. I went on too quickly there. There was another question that I'm aware of, and we'll go back one and reopen councillors' questions for that opportunity. So my apologies, councillors. So, Councillor Dabner.
Yes, Mr Mayor, I'm wondering if we have any form of response to some of the recent, ongoing negative social media commentary.
Thanks, Councillor Dabner. We have. I will read out the final press release, etc. Then we'll go onto our website and our social media tomorrow. Basically, headline: lifting the tone. Elected members respond to personal and harmful attacks. As elected representatives of Circular Head, we, Mayor Gerald Blizzard, Deputy Mayor Annette Dawes and Councillor Mark Dabner, feel compelled to respond directly to recent online commentary that has made false and deeply hurtful claims about our integrity and our motives. The commentary alleged that we were associating with a convicted offender following our attendance at a community event in October 2024. The accusation is utterly false. The event was a joyful and meaningful intergenerational initiative, one of the finest examples of community connection we've had the privilege to be a part of. Community members, young and old, came together to share stories, create art and build bridges across generations. We were invited to attend in our official capacities and we were proud to do so. To see such a well-run, community-driven event used in this way is not just disappointing, it is heartbreaking. We live here, we work here, we raise families here. Like many of you, we shop at the same stores, cheer on the same local teams, and spend our weekends volunteering, coaching and caring. We don't just serve the community, we are a part of it. Every hour we spend as elected members attending meetings, showing up at events, representing residents, is time given willingly and with a deep belief in what this region stands for. To have that commitment repaid with personal attack based on misinformation is not only unfair, it is hurtful beyond words. We want to be absolutely clear. This was not a council-run event. We did not organise it. We did not manage who attended. One attendee, who apparently has a conviction, was legally permitted to be there. We did not invite him and we certainly did not in any way support or associate with him. At the time of the event, we were completely unaware of this history. To be accused of condoning abuse is devastating, said Deputy Mayor Annette Dawes. I spent my career working in education. Child safety is not just a professional commitment, it is a personal one. These kinds of accusations cut deeply. Mayor Gerald Blizzard added, it is gut-wrenching to have something so positive turned into something so toxic. This sort of misinformation doesn't just try to damage reputation, it tears at the very fabric and trust of our community. Councillor Mark Dabner said, we're elected to represent, to listen and to lead, not to be abused or falsely accused. There is a line and this cost him. We stand by all the volunteers and the children in the community who made the event so special, and we stand for a better standard of public conversation. As proud signatories to the Lift the Tone campaign, we believe the disagreement does not have to become disrespect. Criticism does not have to become cruelty. Let's make room for fair and honest debate and call time on the personal attacks. We will continue to serve with integrity and heart, and we ask that all members of our community join us in lifting the tone. Now I will throw out a public invitation to the owner of the Facebook page of a right of reply at next month's meeting if that person is willing to come in and do that reply in a respectful manner. Now, that's going up. Now, I will, given the circumstances, and it's not going to be a precedent-setting thing by any means, but I will give the Deputy Mayor and Councillor Dabney an opportunity to say a couple of words on that, if I wish. Deputy Mayor?
Yep. I wish to make a personal statement regarding what the Mayor has just read out, after which I will expect a public apology. The recent comments made about me on social media are completely false and do not reflect my character or my actions. These personal attacks made by both Melissa Wells and Gatty Burnett on multiple social media platforms are of a very damaging nature and not only reflect on myself, my fellow councillors and council staff, but have a far-reaching impact on the wider community. I will not engage in personal attacks, but I will protect my reputation and my well-being. I encourage anyone who has concerns or questions about me to speak with me directly rather than relying on unverified claims. I remain committed to conducting myself with integrity and respect.
Thanks, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Dabney?
Absolutely, thank you.
Councillor Dabney?
Do you want to do it? All right, I can do that. I will say before I read this, it brings me absolutely no pleasure to do so. And I feel a need to apologise to this council for even needing to, and to almost everyone at home who will watch this. But here goes. It needs to be said. Let me be absolutely clear. This is about two individuals in this community publishing heinous content online to attack and shame the Mayor, Deputy Mayor and myself in our role as Circular Head councillors. Naming and shaming people online and repeatedly falsely outing them as, quote, pedophile protectors to try and force them to do something you want them to do is squarely in the pocket of bullying behaviour. Now, these next 6 words I cannot stress highly enough. I will not be bullied by anyone. I'm calling this out for what it is. Nearly 80% of surveyed councillors in Tasmania report as being subjected to abuse and intimidation in the last 2 years. It must end, and I'm taking a stand against it. Facebook and social media platforms do not come with parliamentary privilege. In the real world, there are repercussions for making such comments, especially those as disgusting and hurtful as have been made in this case. We are not robots. It does hurt. It has damaged us. It's sick and it's wrong, and I don't see a reason to sit back and quietly take it. These comments erode community trust in their elected leadership at a point in history when, frankly, our community needs to trust us the most. Humanrights.gov.au says this, quote, when bullying isn't stopped or challenged by anyone, it can create an environment where bullying is accepted and where everyone feels powerless to stop it. The good word, so I'm going to use it. I challenge Melissa Wells and Gatty Burnett to front the 3 of us and the community of Circular Head during public question time at the next meeting of council. You have named and made serious allegations against us as councillors online, so you should have no problem addressing us as councillors to repeat those same claims in person. Not in a chat room, but in this real room. Not on an online platform, but at that real podium, right there. Repeat your allegations and suggestions about us and facilitate a real-time, real-life response. Specifically, I expect, and I'll say that word again, I expect them to support their claims by presenting their evidence next meeting of council that, 1, we are, quote, pedophile protectors, a claim made on several occasions. Labelling anyone a pedophile protector is a horrific allegation and certainly damaging to their reputation. It's time to show you supporting evidence that we have done this. Number 2, that we, quote, knew prior about the individual at the Portraits event, a claim published repeatedly since October 2024. And in fact, they've published videos claiming they have evidence of this fact. So let's see it. Their videos on this issue have been watched over 15,000 times across multiple platforms. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and I expect, and it's underlined, I expect them to provide it, given the confidence with and number of times these allegations have been made. I have no doubt the broader community we serve would expect it as well, baseless, disgusting attacks by anyone should not be tolerated by this community. Call it out, because I'm over it. In fact, I would ask the same community that put us here to stand with us and draw a deep line in the sand. Enough is enough. We are not a community that supports this behaviour by doing nothing and saying nothing. Now, this is not me trying to silence anyone, and nor is some cover-up conspiracy, as I'm reasonably sure it's going to be claimed. In fact, I think this invitation makes it clear it's the complete opposite, and an absolutely golden opportunity to prove their extraordinary statements with that extraordinary evidence once and for all. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Dabner. Right, we'll move on. 9.1 and we're moving into a planning authority for this report. So, am I doing this one or are you doing this one? Effectively, delegations handed to James and Alison and Adrian, as per outlined down the bottom, which has been in the report. So if there's any questions or queries on any of that, please throw them out. If not, can I have a move and a second of those delegations? Thanks, Deputy Mayor. Seconded, Councillor Collins. No debate? Put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. We're now, councillors, moving back into our standard council meeting. 9.2, Circular Community Wellbeing Plan. Deb.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. The Circular Head Community Wellbeing Plan 2025 to 2030 will provide us with a framework that will guide our future work and also aligns with Council's other important strategies and plans. There's a growing focus in the role of local government in supporting community wellbeing. We have combined the previous 3 plans into one overarching document. There are 5 strategic themes identified that reflect across the key stages of life, which is the early years, the middle years and later years. Each theme has a number of priorities and recognises the role of council, which could be delivering, collaborating, enabling or advocating for community wellbeing. We've undertaken numerous consultation opportunities and taken on board the feedback received and made the required changes. The plan has a 5-year life and an annual implementation plan will be developed and reported on. The plan will be flexible enough to ensure that we can adapt if the community needs change. Councillors, I'd like to present the report for your consideration and happy to take any questions.
Any questions? If not, can we have a move and a seconder that, thanks Councillor Hine, seconded Councillor Dabner. No debate? We'll put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you. Financial report. Please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Councillors, before you we've got the financial report for the period ended 31st of July 2025. We received 2 first home owners grant applications for the first month of the year, which is good, which is pleasing. In terms of on page 75, the comprehensive income statement, in the first month of the year to date is actually $11.2 million surplus, and that's based on because we've raised our rates for the full financial year, and the annual budget deficit is $1.5 million, so that will gradually fluctuate over the next 11 months back down to that deficit. In terms of the statement of financial position, we've currently got community equity of $317 million. On the right there, on page 76, the interim column, they're the figures that we submitted to the Tas Audit Office last week for audit. So we'll have that final audit starting, I think it's the 23rd of September week. In terms of the statement of cash flows, we've currently got a cash at bank balance of $20.2 million compared to 21, a little bit over 21 for 30th of June. In terms of the receivables, uncollected this year to date is 96.33 compared to 89.72, so there's a fair jump there. We did have some issues with the printing of our rates notices, so they went out a little bit, some of them went out a little bit later than what they had done the previous year. So I dare say, hopefully by the end of August, coming into September, then those two figures will more likely be even out and be roughly the same, although the reduction in the discount may have a collection effect this financial year as well too. So we'll wait and see what happens there. In terms of sundry debtors, it's roughly 120,000 compared to 176 last financial year, which is quite low, which is good. On page 79, we've got our cash at bank and our term deposits there, so they're slowly dropping. So we're still getting in the fours for term deposits, which is good. But with interest rate cuts, they more than likely will drop in this next round. And the cash and investments graph. So I'll present that, Mr Mayor, for Council's consideration.
Thank you. Any questions? Right, so mover and a second. Thanks, Councillor Debnah. Second, Councillor Collins. No debate? Motion, those in favour? Aye. Against? Carried. 9.4, Rachel again, forward projects.
Thanks, Mr Mayor.
Carry forward.
We've got the carry forward projects here from the 24-25 financial year for 25-26. The total value of those projects is $7.71 million. It might seem like a lot on the surface, but $4.2 million of that is actually to do with the capping of the Port Ladder waste cells. So that's a fair chunk of that funding there. The carry forwards in previous years have been included in the annual plan document, which has sort of caused a few issues in terms of carry forward balances with financial statements not being completed and those type of things. So I think it's a wise move to consider them at the August meeting like we did last financial year, and they've been workshopped with councillors. So I'll present that to you, Mr Mayor, for council's consideration.
Thank you. Any questions? If not, can we have a move and a second that they be adopted? Thanks, Deputy Mayor. Second, Councillor Debnah. No debate? Put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Annual plan. 9.5.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Councillors, this is a report to note the work of the Cradle Coast Waste Management Group. Cradle Coast Waste Management Group, established in 2007, comprised of the 9 Northwest councils. Group's funded by the Tasmanian Government statewide waste levy. The group receives about 20% of that waste levy, and that funding is put into programs that essentially help with resource recovery and ongoing the avoidance of the state waste levy. The actions in the annual plan are there in the report for you to see, councillors, and present the report for your consideration.
Questions? Yes, Councillor Hines.
We're talking about, you're in the section of the FOGO stuff, aren't we?
I think so. Cradle Coast Waste Management
What page
Group,
are you
which
on?
96.
96, yeah.
80.
So going back to 91,
That's the last.
what's the reason for, isn't there a way that we can use those single-use plastics for generating energy or something like that on page 91, looking in point 4, phase out priority single-use plastics?
Mr Mayor. Look, there hasn't been looked at yet through the Cradle Coast Waste Management Group. It's probably quite a big question. I'm sure that in other countries there may be ways to generate power from plastic, but that technology, as far as I'm aware, isn't available or practical to implement at our state level at the moment, but certainly it's something that could be looked at in the future, I think.
It's also relevant to the 1 tonne bulk bags as far as the the salmon people use, but there's a lot around the farms as well that there should be some sort of a way of getting some energy or use out of them, along with the single plastics.
Yep.
Any further questions, Councillor Flowers?
Yeah, on the single-use plastics, joke really. You go to the supermarket, everything's wrapped in plastic. Then you get out to the checkout, and I want to see a paper bag for 20 cents, which is a joke too, because it's normally busted by the time you get to your car. The worrying about the single-use plastics is everything you buy is plastic on it. And we're worrying about a bag to carry it. And if it's at my place, all them bags are put to use. Like, they go back into the use for rubbish bins. Otherwise, you're buying rubbish bags, more plastic. It's petty what they're trying to save, what they're doing. And they're worrying about the environment. They've got to be cutting down trees to make these stupid plastic paper bags that are not doing the job. And charging us 20 cents, so really it's a money-making scheme. That's just my opinion.
Thanks, Councillor Flowers. Right, is there any other questions?
Yeah.
Is there a question, or you're doing running into debate?
No, question.
Question,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. On page 106, I think it is, recycling tyres. Does our council sort of get involved with that project at the moment? Looks like there's $4 a tyre involved. Do we as a council participate in that program? If so, why is it only restricted to 550 odd tyres per council?
Through you, Mr Mayor, yeah, we certainly do participate in that program. Tyres collected, we're actually not permitted to dispose of those to landfill, so they need to be recycled. They're collected by Tyre Cycle and sent to Hobart. They're reused in things such as asphalt. So they go to good use and produce quite a good product out of that. As for the tyre limit there, I would have to take that question on notice and come back.
Thank you.
Right, is no further questions? Is there a move in the second that we adopt? Thanks, Councillor Dabner. Seconded, Deputy Mayor. Any debate? Put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carries. 9.6, dark sky organising committee, I guess, supposed to be anyway. 9.6, CEO.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. As this group will be aware, a relatively new initiative being led through this council is working towards Dark Skies accreditation through the International Dark Skies organisation. Part of that is to make sure that we pull together various stakeholders from across the community under a single umbrella to create a common narrative across the region and buy into what it is that is involved in a Dark Skies reserve. So the first part of that is to form a council-led Dark Skies coordinating committee. That committee would see a chair and a deputy chair, and of course the mayor has ex officio membership on all committees, and that is the proposal put to this table today. About any questions?
Any questions? If not, Madam, can I move in a second that we accept?
Enthusiastically move.
And
Thanks.
second.
Councillor Davis, second to Deputy Mayor. Any debate?
Yes, Mr Mayor.
Bill, what's your turn? Councillor Davis, you wish to speak?
Not right now. Probably not.
Deputy Mayor?
No.
Now you can go, Councillor Bosky.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I support the new initiative, something new, something that's not done on the coast, something that's completely different to what has been proposed. So I support it coming to the table. Places like Smithton need unique events. It's the only way to encourage people to come here. It should be an event every week if we could get it, but at least a few through the year will lift the pride and the connection to our district. And as we've seen in Hobart many years ago, how they started to bring events in and how it changed Hobart, and it brought a lot of economic and population growth that part of the state. And with the encouragement of this committee, I can see that it could do the same up here. The thing that I really would like to put out to the committee is, wherever possible, that we make it a whole of district event. That's what our aim is, and to focus on where the population is so that we can all enjoy it the best we can. There are other things that may be combined with this, and I'm not going to try and steal these learned people's thunder, but there are other things like the green flash at the edge of the world at certain times, with the timing right. There's probably something we can do with the wildflowers of the Arthur Pyman Tarkine area at the right time of the year. And so they all add to this concept that events are important, and I will come back and reinforce it as much as we can make it a whole of district organisation, the better it will be. But I really support the initiative.
Thanks, Councillor Popovsky. Any further speakers? Councillor Debner.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Firstly, I probably want to thank our new General Manager for bringing this idea and concept to us. Probably a lot of us have heard of it, but the General Manager has direct experience with it in his previous setting in New Zealand. Unless you've lived in places where light pollution is a problem, which is becoming a problem right across the earth, we truly don't appreciate how dark our skies are, and we don't truly understand how many people there are travelling the world right now looking for places to go that are as dark as us for all manner of things, whether it's just general stargazing or astrophotography or deep space exploration or that sort of thing. This kind of thing has the opportunity to bring a completely new, completely untapped tourism ventures, multiple thereof, to Circular Head and expose our local population to things that they otherwise don't get the opportunity to. To have visiting experts who hosting nights here and being out in the dark looking up in wonder, frankly, at what lies above us that most people are completely oblivious to. I think this represents an enormous opportunity for Circular Head. The town of Ross is sort of heading down this path. The southeast is looking for dark skies accreditation, and I just see this as a massive opportunity for Circular Head, and I'd implore everybody to support it. And thank Councillor Collins for chairing this particular committee. I'm deputy, and we're really excited to see where it goes.
Thanks, Councillor Debner. Any other speakers? Councillor Horn?
Can I ask a question, through the chair, to the GM? What do you envisage as far as Circular Head's concerned coming out of this, and does it go to the point of could we look at some accommodation structures on top of Mount Cameron and say the Stanley with glass ceilings?
Councillor, you're out of order because they're just getting daggers shot at me.
We're going to put you in a spaceship.
But the other question was sensible. I was willing to take the daggers, but that's it. All right.
Could I maybe just
yes,
a little bit?
Please.
I want to harness the councillors' interest and enthusiasm. To touch on an earlier point, and thank you, Councillor Debner, but this is really a whole of region benefit. The potential for this to become something transformative is really very significant. Where I've come from in the wider upper, they've seen visitor numbers explode because of farmers are diversifying. It becomes a whole of year activity, and that is something we suffer from, where we see hot and cold at different times of the years with tourist numbers. So it will mean that a truly coordinated effort across our tourism industry, but it will also allow us to really think about our infrastructure, our enabling infrastructure, roading, and all of our social infrastructure to make sure that when people visit here, they have a whole region experience, that it isn't just locked into one place. And so in brief, Councillor, that is probably as clear as I can be on what my vision is. And I too thank Councillor Collins and Councillor Dabner for stepping up to the mark and leading this, and I'll be helping lead the subcommittee, which is not a formal committee, it's more of a working group that basically does the doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right. No further speakers. I'll put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you, councillors. 9.7, the Smithton Town Centre release draft for public consultation. CEO.
Thank you. As you will all be aware, there has been a significant amount of engagement on the Smithton Town Centre plan already. This final piece is to present the direction set by our community and the feedback to this point in time to help sense check the final draft plans prior to adoption next month. This really is just bringing it to this table for that final stage consultation.
Thank you. Any questions? Councillor Pilkington?
I just think we should change that council endorse the draft Smithton Town Centre plan to submit.
Right, so we'll need a motion and then you can move an amendment, I would think would be the correct way.
Can I move a motion?
Yeah, you can move the motion with the change and see if there's a second that comes forth with that.
That instead of endorse, we put submit.
Right.
Yes, correct.
So just change the word endorse to submit.
If I may, through you, Mr. Mayor, I've been sense checking, and I am completely to blame, if I can use that word, for reviewing our terminology whenever we adopt a council approach towards direction setting. I see this as being a two-step process. First of all, you're recognising that the paper is at such a point, the consultation paper is at such a point, and you're simply endorsing that it is at that point ready for consultation. And then the second piece is that you're approving the commencement of the consultation. So I believe that I know where you're coming from, but it is simply, it's a point of recognition as to the current state of play for the consultation paper, not the policy or the plan itself, if that makes sense to the table.
And if we
We've got a second that?
So we submit rather than endorse.
The word submit rather than...
Yeah, look, I'm prepared to second that.
Right.
Yes.
Councillor Pilgrim?
we've discussed this at workshop, and the whole, I think the feeling of council, certainly my feeling, was that we looked at the plan and we think it's quite a good plan, but there's lots of things that the community should discuss it. With the word endorse it going out to the public, it says that we endorse, the way it sounds is we endorse the plan. We didn't, in my opinion, endorse the plan at workshop. We said that the plan should go out to the public for discussion, and says that. It says we submit the plan to go out to the public for discussion, and I would encourage people to look at the plan critically. Council, in my opinion, hasn't endorsed it. They've put it out there for people to look at.
Thank you. Councillor Knight, you wish to speak?
Yes, thank you, and I do so in drawing your attention to page 166, where it's highlighted the heritage listing. The information I've got, that's totally incorrect. There's only about 5 or 6, and I can read those out, I think, what actually are heritage listed, and the rest are not heritage listed. So we need to sort of tidy that up a bit for a start off, and before it goes out, because we're putting information out that's not correct. Thank you, and with the there's a page there that goes back and gives an outline of the central
So,
land.
Councillor Hyde, we're debating the word, whether we
Right.
change the word at this point.
From that point of view, we submit, because endorse, if we say endorse, it's endorsing what's on there as well, and it's not correct, as I understand it.
Well,
Just, Deputy Mayor?
I'm just going to add that while we're on page 166, there's a spelling mistake, and Emmett has 2 T's, not 1.
Spelling that.
It's coming from the
Any other speakers? Councillor Ollega?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. This plan, I have some grave concerns with it. All right, we're going to submit it to the community and let them have. But I think some of these things need to be put up front about where some of the real problems with this issue. But by going out and talking to Agritas and think you're going to bring them into town, let's get real. The cost of that comes on council. It won't come on anybody else. The walkway over the bridge, they're talking. You're going to do that before. Well, the bridge is not up to widening the walkways at this point in time. Then there was another one where they wanted to, was talked about having a walkway go down between the river and Tas Seafoods. It is not wide enough. Simply not wide enough. There's all those sort of things that you're talking about. But the most important thing that's not really that's got to be dealt with before this even gets off the ground is we've got to deal with the planning scheme to change some of the zonings that are within that. And unless that's done, none of this is going to happen.
Thanks, Councillor Ollega. Any further speakers? I won't be supporting the amendment because it is a draft. It will come back to be the sort of things Councillor Ollega and the things Councillor Hyde are talking about to be finalised prior to becoming a policy. All we're doing here is endorsing it to get it out to the public. Right, so we have an amendment to change the word endorse to submit. Alright, so that's what we're voting on. So I'll put that motion.
Can I speak again?
Yep.
Yeah, I've spoken against it.
The word is simple. We haven't, as a council, endorsed it. If we vote that way tonight, whether it's technically we're not endorsing it, the public will think we've endorsed this plan. And like Councillor Oldacre and Councillor Hine, I think there's a lot that's good in the plan and a lot that's bad. I think we should submit it to the public for their to view it and give their ideas. But if we say we've endorsed it in this motion, we're saying that we've endorsed the plan, and we haven't. Whether it's technically we're not endorsing it, we're just endorsing the plan going out. It doesn't sound like that to the public. And the public, our ratepayers should consider it carefully because a lot of the things in it are unrealistic certainly in the near term, and we need to be critical about the way we if this plan goes ahead, how it's prioritised and what's good in it. And the people of Circular Head should look at it in a critical way. And I just say that the vote will tell whether people think we've endorsed it, but I think we've only said that it should go out to our community for consultation. So I say submit is the correct word to put.
Okay, thank you. Right, so that's what we're voting on. I'll put the amendment, which is changing the word endorse to submit. Those in favour?
Aye.
Those against? Carried. So now the...
Point of order, Mr. Chair, you need to... The amendment now becomes the
Yep,
motion.
I was about to go there.
No, I didn't think it was.
I was about to go there. You're keen to get a point of order on me, I know, but I was about to go there. So now the amendment becomes the motion. I don't think we need any further debate. We sort of covered that on the way around. So I'll put the motion.
Before you do that, do we address that, what I've suggested, as far as there's some anomalies in there or not?
No, because it's that's you. They've got too much information, and there's no way of proving that at this point in time. It will be reviewed, obviously. So
Come in the review.
Very good.
When it comes back, we've got a chance.
It's putting false information out there. That there's at least 16 or 17 sites listed.
you're out of order.
Yeah, right.
Councillor Oldacre is quite right. And I've taken 4 daggers for you already tonight. Right, so the amendment has become the motion. I will put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. And it will come back, Councillor Hyde. And I don't know where the information come. I'm not an expert in heritage systems. So. Now, 9.8, Senior Management Report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to highlight a few things. First and foremost, as you'll all be aware, the Senior Management Report has been used and continues to be used, for at least for the time being, as the channel by which we highlight a range of different activities and achievements that don't normally get spotlighted through a formal council report. With the updates to the Local Government Act and a greater emphasis on more advanced forms of reporting and insights for this table, we're going to be taking the opportunity to pivot towards a report that reflects organisational performance and health of the organisation in a much more comprehensive way. And those changes will be made over the next 6 months or so. So I hope that you start to see information, for example, your financial statements for example, being clustered underneath the Senior Management Report, and to give you that more holistic view on health and performance overall. But in the meantime, there's still some fantastic things to call out in terms of the West Esplanade Master Plan. As a result of the discussions with Parks and Wildlife, we decided to actually stay with the current lease provisions because the longer-term lease would have been too restrictive. So that's something there that we wanted to spotlight. But works continues regardless. I did want to highlight an amazing achievement through the Connected Communities team. And in particular, I wanted to call out Amber's amazing investment of time and effort into this, something I know she holds very dear around the science gig on the 11th of August. I attended there for a short time. Over 420 people attended that, which is really just a reflection of the amount of effort, emotional no doubt on Amber's part, that she puts into that amazing event. So I'd like to just personally congratulate her and thank her for her efforts in that space. In terms of the Stanley Recreational Ground, works have commenced to upgrade the showers, which is another good step forward. And the final point I'd like to make as well, which this table may not, what everyone at this table may not be aware of, is that Jodie within the Connected Communities team left us yesterday on 12 months secondment. As you will be aware, she's put her heart and soul into the Charts programme, and well, I just don't think she can let go, because she's going to be continuing to volunteer at that. That programme starts, as you know, on the 31st of this month. So again, a big pat on the back for Jodie, and we're looking forward to getting her back in 12 months' time. So invite any questions, whether it be for myself or Deb on those.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Thanks.
On the
Councillor Wells.
14th, you had a meeting with Bendigo Bank. Bendigo Bank pretty happy with the go here in Secret, or they're not deciding on moving on, or?
No, not at all. The purpose for my meeting with Bendigo Bank is to try and foster more partnerships in the community. You may not be aware, but throughout Tasmania, Bendigo Bank, despite the fact that they've had a little bit of negative media over the last few days around bank closures, further down south, there are certain branches of Bendigo Bank, because of the community bank status that they have in Tasmania, put millions of dollars back into the community. And I wanted a bit of it. Within Smithton, they've put in the last 12 months $40,000 back into community grants. I thought I saw there an opportunity there to align our own grants process with their grants process to give better bang for the buck, and have a greater impact and do more collaborative work together, hence why I initiated that discussion.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Councillor Hine?
On 27th of July, you met with meeting with Development of Marine Parade, Stanley. What's been proposed there? And
so yes, I've taken the approach that there's council may have been somewhat divorced of the tough conversations, and it was time to get us closer and take more of an interpersonal approach towards our relationships with our developers and anyone else that's looking to invest in the region. And so on a couple of occasions you will have seen I've actually met with developers on site. They've been listening exercises, looking at ways in which we are currently operating, ways in which we can become easier to do business with, trying to understand their frustrations, some of those hurdles that we need to overcome. Not with any promises or anything like that, just to see whether there's ways in which we can align their business objectives with council's own objectives as well. So those are really that was the reasoning behind those meetings. No promises at all. It was just an ongoing conversation.
Thank you.
Seems like there's another question. Yes.
I've got two actually. I'll be feed if you like. The progress, you're at a meeting with the progress group, and can I just correct down the 31st of the 7th, it's the Smithton Dog Park, not the Stanley one.
Oh, yep.
Oh.
Thank you. And on behalf of the Lions Club, I thank you for sort of sitting down with us. And
my pleasure.
We do have an ongoing discussion with the Latrobe Council on the 2nd of September to see where we can go and get a bit more information on that. Thank you.
Councillor Pilgrim?
The meeting with CCA on Ramsar.
Yes. This was one of the purpose of in the first instance was to bring me up to speed on what was Ramsar and how did it align with all of the commentary and the discussion within the community around the possible implications for Robbins Island. So it was CCA came over to speak to me and just bring me up to speed there and provide dispel any issues and fears around the pathway towards Ramsar accreditation. Since that, I've asked for the contact details for the Minister to see whether or not there's an opportunity for us to meet with the Minister and discuss how best to progress that. So that is currently underway. Well, we're waiting to hear back from the Minister's office. But yeah, I think there had been, it had not been put on pause as such, but obviously with caretaker mode there was a desire to not necessarily prioritise it for the time being, but I've put it back on his agenda now, so hopefully we should be able to see some progress.
Yeah, I think it was on hold a long time before caretaker, but who is the Minister now?
Doigan again, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's still Doigan.
Doigan.
I'll have to check that, but I think it's still
Yeah, I believe it is, yeah. And it was, yeah, no, I appreciate it was on hold before then, but it was to remove us out of this holding pattern that we've been in for some time, whether it be caused by caretaker or beforehand. But, you know, I take your point, it has been, just been in, yeah, going round and round in circles for quite some time.
Yes, Councillor Hunt.
Yeah, I've got another one on page 218, where you've already touched on it, I think, about possibility of purchasing the part of the Western Esplanade. But on that one, is there any merit in our council inviting the new State Treasurer to a workshop and discuss sort of areas like that, because there are areas probably within Circular Head, and I highlight the one that Ash's been sort of talking about as far as subdivision down the Arthur River, where they could probably generate some income and help our community, but also help the state coffers a bit as far as sort of generating some extra dollars to help their bottom line.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I mean, Councillor, you do raise a very good point, and in fact, as I've raised at a previous workshop, that we have a number of plans and strategies, all of which have been developed in somewhat isolation of one another. There is a piece of work at the moment to identify any low-hanging fruit. We're all aware of our financial position. We're all aware of the fact that there's pots of money that exists in various sources around, whether it be federal or state government. We want some of that. We need some of that. I think, well, I know in fact the plan I've adopted is to simply better understand what those low-hanging pieces are and how on what grant sources might be available that we can grab hold of and run with. Alongside the work that the ELT is doing, particularly around our own rating structure, how we generate our own income, how we address the deficit, because we can't stifle sustainable growth at the same time as address the deficit. We have to continue thriving as a community, and we need some of this external funding to allow us to do that. But I very much take your point, but at the moment it's very much about identifying what those low-hanging fruits are that exist across all of these plans.
Thank you, Councillor Flowers.
Yeah, on what Councillor Hine was talking about, subdivision of the Arthur River, there's already quite a few shacks that are Crown lease. If we lobbied for them to be sold, I haven't got conflict of interest anymore. If we lobbied for them to be sold, it's money in the coffers for the government, and them shacks, the owners of them shacks have got the opportunity then to make them better. There was shacks sold off here 20 years ago.
2012,
25 years ago. Yeah, everyone got in and upgraded their shacks. The rate revenue was improved. It was a win-win for everyone. The way it is at the moment, a lot of these shacks have fallen down because, well, the state government won't let you repair them and won't let you do nothing to them. So, if they was allowed to be brought, the land that they're sitting on, if that was subdivided off, and well, a lot of them are already subdivided, but they're already surveyed, but they need to be sold to the leaseholders so that they can get in and spend money on them and improve them and get them up to a better standard. And in doing that, we get a bigger rate revenue, and the government get money in their coffers, and they get land tax. Everyone's a winner except for the buyer, but he's got a bit of security though, hasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you,
Thanks,
Councillor.
Councillor Flowers. Councillor Collins.
Yeah, I was just back on the meetings and appointments, so I was actually wondering how your meeting with the Health Department, re the Health Hub in Smithton went.
That isn't just well, it went well. The challenges with bureaucracy. Where we're at the moment is that we've reinitiated conversations with the developer and with potential leaseholder. There have been conversations through that meeting around the potential future ownership model for the medical centre, which is problematic because with our current financial position, we don't want to own it on our books. That said, we feel that we've found a way forward in terms of what a potential lease arrangement might be, and council's role in helping to facilitate the process and to at least help with the holding of the money and being the broker of the money. So it is heading in the right direction. We've got another meeting set up for 4 weeks' time.
Yep.
And yeah, we should have more to report on hopefully next time.
Very good.
No further questions? If I could have a move and a second that we accept the report. Thanks, Councillor Neville. A second to Councillor Hine. No debate. Put the motion. Those in favour? Aye. Against? Carried. Thank you. Minutes. We've got 3 lots of minutes there. So we'll just note them there. And is there any questions or comments? And we'll move them in one hit. If there's no questions or comments, we can either move in a second.
On that report, Mr Mayor, could we get listed each month now when the last set of minutes were received at council for each of the committees?
Sorry?
It's some time since I've seen, and I'm not saying I missed it, didn't miss it, is the Western area been sitting?
Well, if I may, Mr Mayor.
Yes, certainly, Councillor Harding.
The Western Area Management meet bi-monthly.
2 monthly, yeah.
Every second month.
Yes.
Now, that was their annual meeting was in July. Unfortunately, I said I was going and then fell asleep in the chair and didn't get there. The next meeting is in September, of which Councillor Pilkington will be attending. So they're well aware of the issues that are going on.
Yeah, it's just that I haven't seen some for a long time.
I think they come in, don't they, Devon, best you can.
Yeah, I don't receive I don't receive the Western area.
Oh, right.
But the Northern area I thought should have been in this, but it's not, so I'll make sure the July meeting from the Northern area is in there.
And did you get
They
any...
meet bi-monthly now too.
Yeah, well, that delays it a little bit, but did you get any feedback about receiving the President's report at the table?
I've advised all the committees about it.
On all committees, yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor Popovsky. Any other comments, questions? If not, if I could have a move in a second, that they be noted. Thanks, Councillor Pilkington. A second to Councillor Flowers. Noted that. Put the motion. Those in favour? Aye. Against? Carried. Now I need a mover and a seconder that council resolve by absolute majority that the matters listed below be considered in the closed meeting.
So moved.
Councillor Hine, second Councillor Collins. Put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against, carried. And then I need another mover and a seconder to resolve by absolute majority that go into closed meeting to consider the following. Councillor Hine again. And Councillor Dabner. Put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Now I'll adjourn the meeting whilst we finish, get the recording ready for the closed session.
Does this have to be stopped, Matt?
If we got time.
Please.